matches or something in that area. So, you know, they're a good team. They've built something nice. They play a nice shape. They're very confident about what they're doing at the moment. So it's a tough one.
What do you guys need to improve on from last week in Italy?
Just keep on building in the combinations we're trying to get going. You know, we've got a lot of people who've played first time together ever. You know, there's a lot of firsts in our team at the moment. You know, John Cooney would never have played with some of those players. It's the first time Jacob was outside Tommy ever in a real match. And there's a lot of other firsts that are coming up in our game in terms of combinations. So, you know, we've got to make sure that we do things that gel our combinations better so we can put together a bit better flow.
Stephen, after a frustrating performance last week, albeit a win, how important do you think it is for Les Kiss and Ulster to get a home win here tonight?
I don't know about everybody sitting watching back home, but he's not really filling me full of confidence that this team's going to go out tonight and put in a big effort and get a victory. He's talking about the Scarlets and how good a team they are. You know, he's got to have belief in the players that he selected tonight. He's got to get behind them and make sure that the players go out tonight knowing that they're in with a good chance of getting the result tonight. But for me, it just seems like, we're missing a few players here. We're, you know, combinations, this, that and the other. You know, you've got to be very positive, especially when you're at a home fixture. We're here at the Kingspan Stadium, and if you want to finish in that top three in your conference, you've got to win your home matches, Stephen. Yeah,
three of Ulster's big names, Coetzee, Dysel and Piatow, all missing tonight, Eddie. Two more new faces at halfback, Cooney and Leo Lofana. How do you think they have performed so far this season, and how big a test is this for them tonight?
Well, I think Leo Lofana was a guy who's an exceptional footballer, a great playmaker. He's a really good fit for Ulster, and I think he's kind of playing his way into the team, playing his way into the system, and I think you'll see him take a step forward again tonight. I think Cooney's been outstanding. He saved Ulster last week in Treviso. He made a try-saving tackle in the first half. He blocked down the kick that led to the winning try. So I think he's a very good fit. So I think they're two guys, if they gel well, could be steering the ship very comfortably. No, again, it's early in the season. They've got to give them a bit of latitude, but I think they're well capable of steering this Ulster team.
OK, let's hear from the Scarlets coach. He's talking to Gavin.
Yeah, we've had a good start. You know, we wanted to do that after the way we started last year and put pressure on ourselves. So got the start we wanted, and now a very big challenge tonight.
The Lions back for you, how big a boost is that?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, they're quality players, aren't they? And they bring an extra sort of level to the training pitch, and you know, they're looking forward to it as well. They've had a good rest now, and you know, one starting, one coming off the bench, or sorry, two starting and one coming off the bench. So we'll see how they go.
What are you expecting from Ulster tonight?
A lot of passion, obviously. You know, they're a very good side, well coached. And playing at home in front of a great crowd. We love coming here from that point of view, but it's probably a 16th player, if you like, at times. But certainly it's going to be a big challenge for us, and it's one that we're looking forward to.
Scarlets lost here last year, Stephen, but after that went on a pretty incredible run. They're going to be very tough to beat tonight.
They are going to be very tough to beat, and I think it was 2 years ago at the Scarlets I actually came to Kingspan and got a result. I was speaking to Stephen Jones, who I was fortunate enough to play with in 2009 in the Lions Tour, and he was saying to me, Stevie, we like coming here. I was like, why? He says, great facilities, great pitch, great crowd. He says, long gone the days of Fortress Ravenhill where you ran out the side of the pitch and the wind hit you in the face and there was usually driving rain. He says, long gone those days. Those Scarlets players will be relishing tonight. This is a massive opportunity for them to take another step forward.
And a passionate and emotional night as well. A spontaneous round of applause at the moment, remembering Nevin Spence, who sadly passed away 5 years ago today.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure it's been an emotional week for the guys. Myself personally, you know, was obviously involved in that squad that had to deal with those circumstances. But the boys will be very professional in what they have to get on with tonight, and I'm sure it'll be in the back of everybody's minds. But they got to get on with the job and hopefully get a victory for young Nevin.
Eddie, what do you want to see this Ulster team do tonight that they didn't do last week if they're to try and overthrow the champions this evening?
Well, you'd like to see them play a game that's a very high level of intensity, but controlled and managing their way through the game, creating opportunities and taking them, and defending well, not falling off and making mistakes. It's about consistency of performance for Ulster tonight and getting right on top of their game. OK, Eddie, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. Teams are on their way, and there will be a moment of poignant reflection before the game tonight as Ulster remembers Nevin Spence. Let's join our commentary team, Tony McWhirter and Jim Neely.
It's very hard to believe that 5 years have elapsed since Ulster Rugby lost Nevin Spence, who together with his dad Noel and brother Graham were killed in a tragic accident on the family farm in County Down. The crowd well remember Nevin. Indeed, the Nevin Spence Centre has been named in his memory, and That young man will never, ever, ever be forgotten by everyone here at the Kingspan Stadium. Well, the top team in the conference on this side at the moment, Ken Owens, the Wales and Lions hooker, comes back into the front row and add a little bit of beef to an already beefy pack as big Jake Ball behind the scrum. Just the one change. Lee Halfpenny comes into full back for his second game of the season, with Johnny McNichol moving on to the right wing, the league's top try scorer at the moment. The Scarlets playing in the somewhat unfamiliar away strip of grey with the odd little bit of red here. We're so used to them playing in all red. I don't think it's going to matter, because they are very much the form team, and if I'm not mistaken, other than European visitors, they're the first away side to come to Ravenhill, who have been made odds-on favourites. Chris Henry captains the Ulster side for the second time this season. He did the honours in the opening game against the Cheetahs, when Ulster's performance in the main gave everybody an awful lot of hope. Just the one change in the Ulster back division, with Luke Marshall, who played in a couple of the Irish tests in the summer, coming in for his first game of the season. Christian Lealefano and John Cooney start for the third time in a row. Kyle McCall comes into the front row, Alan O'Connor into the second row, and a reshuffled back row sees Chris Henry move to 7, Matthew Ray plays at 6, and Sean Reedy starts at 8. But now we will have a minute's silence in memory of Neville Spence.
Exactly 5 years ago today. Thank you.
A respectful silence, a round of applause, and the Scarlets, the visitors, not unaware of the importance of this occasion here at the Kingspan Stadium, the home of Ulster Rugby. A bit of a breeze is picked up, and Tony McWhirter, good evening. That may well be a factor.
Evening, Jim. Evening, everybody. Yeah, the overhead conditions superb. It's nice and dry. The wind certainly will have an element to play as the game goes on, but it's cold, Jim, as well. And I think one thing that will bring in terms of the kicking game, balls maybe not going to travel quite as well out of the hands.
Born in Romania 35 years ago, Marius Maitreya now refereeing his 70th Pro 14 game, as it's called now. His TMO is a fellow Italian, Alan Falzoni, Vincenzo Scapani, and Kieran Barr are his assistants. As Christian Lealefano gets us away, nicely taken in by Big Tig Byrne, the former Leinster and Ireland under-21 international. And that's a good solid drive by the West Walians. Gareth Davis is one of the best box kickers in the business, and he's put just about enough on that. Well taken by Louis Ludick, sporting a new haircut. John Cooney, man of the match a week ago. And Ulster give away the penalty, hanging on in the tackle. Penalty goes against Louis Ludick, and that's going to give the Scarlets, Tony, a chance, I'm sure, to go deep into Ulster territory. Rhys Patchell, I wonder, will he contemplate a kick at goal? No, he's changed his mind. Yeah, top point scorer so far this season in the league. He's
going to pop this down the line, Jim, but textbook start from the Scarlets as well. And just as you mentioned, Gareth Davies, fantastic box kick, good chase. Also not able to get support to Ludick quick enough, and referee pings him pretty quickly.
Well, Chris Henry was in there, but he was prevented from getting himself over his colleague Andrew Trimble in there as well. Penalty was given by Marius Maitreya. So first incursion into Ulster's 22.
Stay 10, 9.
Jake Ball pops it down to Will Boyd, who scored a try here a couple of seasons ago, deputising for James Davis, who's undergone a bit of surgery, but not a bad job. He's making an open side flanker. And that's a good concerted drive by the Scarlets. Ulster will have to be very sharp to try to resist this. Well, Ulster have dug in a little bit. That's a bit better. Pick up and drive by the formidable Aaron Shingler, another Welsh international. John Barkley, the Scotsman, captained the side last week. Patchell, a little bit of width on it. Lee Halfpenny's in there. Good tackle on Hadley Parks by Ulster. Jacob Stockdale came in and Stockdale's pinched it. And that's the second penalty Ulster have given away. And already the referee is incurring the wrath of the crowd, but he was absolutely right.
Yeah, Luke Marshall on this occasion coming in the side of the ruck rather than through the back door. But what's very evident, Jim, in the opening 2 minutes is how well organised and how comfortable the Scarlets are on the ball. Very few changes from their playing squad from last year. Barley, Halfpenny really coming on board, but so comfortable on ball. They've good structures and players know exactly where they're meant to be and the jobs they're meant to do.
Hadley Parks, the New Zealander who'll be eligible under terms of residency to play for Wales pretty soon. So 2 penalties against Ulster in the opening couple of minutes, and that's just not acceptable.
Look, Marshall maybe just caught himself a little bit unlucky there. He was attacked or got back to his feet, and although the ruck had been set up, there was just caught skirting around the side of it.
Well, the Halfpenny, 71 caps for Wales. 4 Lions tests, including one in the most recent tour. Arrived back in Llanelli from a spell in Toulon. You don't want to say things like this, but this looks pretty regulation for a kicker as good as Lee Halfpenny. Got right underneath it, and up go the flags, and that is not the start that Ulster wanted. And the Scarlets have more than thrown down the gauntlet. They're really putting it up to this Ulster side. 3.5 minutes gone. Ulster 0, Scarlets 3.
I think that's just what you would expect from the champions, Jim. 3.5 minutes played. Ulster still to touch the ball, apart from the kick-off. And if you give the ball away cheaply this evening, it's going to cost you.
That's hanging in a bit of a breeze. That's a good kick by Liliafano. And once again, it's Tadhg Beirne rises above everyone.
One stop.
And good protection of the football. This is fairly regulation textbook stuff by the visitors. Patchell. Scott Williams had to check. Here goes Halfpenny looking to create a bit of a gap out wide. First up tackle was missed wide out by Ulster. That's a charge down. Bounced handily into the hands of Patchell. Swept away by Boyd in the outside half position. My goodness, Steph Evans has left everybody in his wake. Crowd thought that was forward to Gareth Davis. But look at the rugby this Scarlet side's playing at the moment. It's a confident side. Ulster have stolen it. Marshall. John Cooney legs it. I think Patchell's maybe just got the edge of him. Cooney pushes the ball. It came into touch, I think, off the foot of Rhys Patchell, and that might be an Ulster line out, and a bit of nonsense breaks out. And everybody piling in, but you're not allowed to throw a punch or anything like that. So there's a lot of shoving and pushing and hauling and collar tugging and name calling, but it's not serious, Tony, is it?
Handbags, James, handbags. But it's good to see. It's good to see the Ulster guys with a bit of pump and verve in there as well. Stephen mentioned it beforehand. A less than sort of enthusiastic bit of talking by Les Kiss before the game, very downbeat, and one would hope that certainly he's playing the underdog card and Ulster come out and throw a few shots this evening. We see Steph Evans on the break here. Fantastic end to the season for the Scarlets last year. Capped then on the Welsh tour during the summer. But a good bit of play by Ulster at the breakdown. Marshall then with the clever kick down. Patchell hoping the ball is going to just bounce into touch. But didn't John Cooney do well as well? Pressure. Ulster then get the put in.
This far, John Cooney has been a pretty good signing. And to be fair to Les Kiss, I suspect what he says in front of camera is a lot different to what he says in the privacy of the dressing room to his players. First line out of the game. Rob Herring. Good take by big Alan O'Connor, who incidentally played for the Irish Under-20 World Cup squad along with Tadhg Beirne. Cooney again. Way was blocked. Good closing down in the middle of the park by the Scarlets. Ulster Route 1, Vian Herbst, who needs to be much more dynamic than of recent seasons, has taken it forward. It's good work by the prop. Kieran Treadwell met with strong resistance. Cooney, Liliafano gets into the 22, and the referee has given yet another penalty against Ulster.
14 Ulster.
Yeah, it's Luke Marshall again, Jim. Side entry, so Christian Leofano takes the ball in, and Marshall coming in the side of the ruck rather than round through the gate once again over the top of the ball. And what we see from Marius Maitreya straight away, technically he's very much wants the players to play to the letter of the law. Ulster have to get with that quite quickly.
Well, the Ulster coaching team will not be at all happy. That's under 7 minutes played, or just over 6, and Ulster have given away 3 penalties. Leofano goes to the ground, and Marshall should know better than that. He's a seasoned campaigner and an Irish international. He just wasn't thinking there, I don't think. Ken Owens back from Lions duty. Shingler, big fella, nearly 6'5", back row forward, equally at home in the second row, and that's another good drive by the Scarlets. And right at the back is Ken Owens, who's got the ball. They're going to try to smuggle it back to Gareth Davis.
Wide stop.
Now to Patchell. Scott Williams, here's Hadley Parks. Lee Halfpenny, a lot of pace out wide to Johnny McNicholl, who scored 3 tries this season in his 2 games. That's gone loose, and Ulster get the put into the scrum. So Ulster's drift defence working pretty well.
It has done, Jim, but Scarlets have looked at Ulster's first 2 games, and Ulster have had a tendency early on in the season to defend very narrow. Even the structure here, both centres defending inside the first post. Scarlets are very, very comfortable with ball in hand. Hadley Parks, Halfpenny, McNicholl in the wing, and they're going to try and stretch Ulster this evening.
Everybody agrees with the cap, okay?
Johnny McNicholl, the 26-year-old, born in Christchurch in New Zealand. Another man who could be eligible to play for Wales in the not-too-distant future. Exactly the same, 110.1 kilograms, or in old money, 17 stone 5 pounds.
Set.
Scrum coming down on this near side. I think Vian Herbst maybe just got his feet a little bit too far back and he couldn't take the strain, and down he goes, but the referee's happy enough to ask him to do it again.
Yeah, well, this is Noel Welsh international front row, and Rob Evans, very, very powerful loose head scrummaging. And that's the one concern with Herbst. He tends to go in and just lock and hold Jim, and if you can get a shoulder on him, just get a nudge on the outside and chase in on the hooker, he sometimes can't take the pressure, and down he goes.
Rob Evans on the Scarlets loosehead side has seen off that great veteran from Cardiff, the most capped Welsh player of all time, Gethin Jenkins, in the #1 position in the Welsh team. That's a good Ulster scrum, and look at that good back there by Herbst, picked up by Sean Reedy at #8. Ulster again, Cooney, away Leofano. Ludick had to check a little bit and forced perhaps to kick when he maybe didn't want to. McNicholl, who can play full back with equal facility, sells an outrageous dummy. And bundled into touch by Andrew Trimble and by Jacob Stockdale. Sean Reedy wants to take it quickly. Well, they may not be executing things wonderfully well, but Ulster's attitude can't be faulted.
No, it's spot on, and again Trimble to the fore. Just a little bit lateral, not quite accurate enough with the passing. Good pressure by the Scarlets. McNicholl performing that blindside wing role well, sweeping round, but good defence by the 2 Ulster wingers.
Quick ball, Cooney. Taken on by McCluskey. They were waiting for him. They saw what he did against the Cheetahs a couple of weeks ago. Cooney again. This big Matty Ray pressed into service. Thought he was going to be in the bench, but starting. Leofano gets it away. That's good hands by Ulster. Scarlet's defence has been pretty decent too. Leofano again. Kyle McCall restored to the front row, having started against the Cheetahs. Leofano. Ray. Big lump of a fill-up. There's the kick by the Wallaby, and that's a good kick by the Wallaby.
It's nice from Leofano, isn't it? Just options. Ulster go a couple of phases, get a bit flat, nothing on, happy just to play the territory, play the possession. Just that Ulster establish a little bit of field position and territory. Scarlet's defensive line, though, Jim, looks really good, doesn't it? They have a lot of pace in that back row. Obviously, John Barkley, an open side at 8, and really shooting up quick.
Ball bobbles, but comes back in the Scarlet side. Kieran Treadwell puts in the tackle, but the Scarlets have made a bit of ground.
Use it.
Davis, Patchell. Hadley Parks in the inside centre position. Scott Williams, that's been spilled forward. Bit of a chance here. Cooney couldn't sweep it away.
No advantage.
And there was a wee chance there for Ulster if they'd just been able to control that spill forward, but they've got the scrum, Tony.
Yeah, and there's good field position, but Enterprise and the Scarlets, and it's actually the best position to go, Jim, if you think about it. The defensive fullback is well back, your open side wing is full back as well, and if you can execute the passing, you are going to create an overlap, and that's twice we've seen the Scarlets go from inside their 22, so defensively Ulster have been warned.
Coming up to 12 minutes gone. Les Kiss on his right, the former Scarlet, Dwayne Peel, who spent many years soldiering in the red of Llanelli and the Scarlets, and Wales and the Lions, with Stephen Jones, who's with the Scarlets coaching team now.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Come down on the Ulster loosehead side, where Kyle McCall is up against the wonderfully named Samson Lee. What a great name for a prop forward, Samson.
The call is footing issue. You two, just make sure you keep the feet underneath. Balance, please.
You mentioned Gethin Jenkins earlier, Jim, and it's Samson Lee that's taken over the mantle from the great Adam Jones in bygone days, and had a few injury problems, perhaps unlucky not to get himself a place in the Lions tour last year if he had been fit, and very, very highly regarded scrummaging tight head prop.
Yeah, 24 years of age, Samson Lee. He's got 34 international caps to his name. Started when he was, well, still in shorts. Cooney, good switch. Idea was good. Stockdale had come inside Liliafano, and had the Australian been able to hold that, he had Stockdale lurking ominously. It was a good idea, wasn't it? Wasn't the worst pass, actually.
No, it's just going straight through the breadbasket, hasn't it? But again, it's the option that's there. That is good. If you're able to work that overlap, especially with defensive systems set up the way they are, it's generally defensively wing against wing, and if you can create the overlap with somebody coming down that short side with good execution and good hands and straight running, you can make some room.
John Cooney is enjoying himself here in Belfast.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
First put in for the Scarlets. Davis with Patchell outside him.
Use it.
Don't think he'll get it onto his foot. That's good challenging by John Cooney. Nothing wrong with that. That's good work by Ulster's number 9 against the Scarlets number 9. And the referee has penalised Ulster for the 4th time at the breakdown.
White one. Stay up.
I think he's got that from the touch judge, Jim, who's called Kyle McCall for going down on his knees.
Patchell finds a pretty decent touch.
But again, it's clever from Cooney. That's the worst position a number 8 can find himself in whenever he has the opposition scrum half snapping at his feet. You're trying to either get the ball on the right side for your scrum half to clear, or else pick it up and use it yourself. And what Cooney does here, he stays on the right side of the ball, so he's not offside. Ball comes out, number 8's detached, he's clear to go for that.
Scarlets win the line out. Patchell. John Barkley appears from the middle of the park, the number 8. Davis again, a lot of zip in this back division. Here comes Hadley Parks. That's good defending there by Ulster. I think it was John Cooney was up very quickly. Well, he's proving himself in just about every facet of the game. He can kick, he can pass, he's not a bad goal kicker, and he can tackle.
Just did enough. Scarlets got themselves quite flat. Ulster just happy to show them the outside, drift and hold. Cooney just puts enough pressure on Hadley Parks to force the mistake.
Rob Herring. Taken by Sean Reedy.
Release 7.
That's the halfway line. This is Kieran Treadwell, a fully fledged Irish international. Cooney back inside to Louis Ludock. Read that nicely. Good variation by Cooney. Here goes big Matty Ray. Bit of a check there by Reedy. That's the Scarlets' 10-metre line. Liliafano again to keep it tight. And again, the kick is absolutely spot on.
And it needs to be, Jim, as well, because Ulster are getting no change from the Scarlets at the minute. Just not unable to get those big ball runners over the gain line, and in danger of getting themselves isolated as well. Matty Ray perhaps quite lucky not to get away with holding on with ball on the ground, and Also just have to rally the troops, maybe need to send one or two more men into those ruck situations to produce some quicker ball, because at the minute it's all too static.
Short line out by the Scarlets. It's Aaron Shingler takes it at the front. Davis looking to put Good to ball himself. Doesn't make an awful lot of ground, but he's cleared it. Pretty efficient in defence and inside their 22, the Scarlets.
Their set piece has been fantastic, hasn't it? Nice, clean, good delivery from Ken Owens, who's fantastic. Obviously the incumbent Welsh hooker as well, but his line out throwing second to none. But it's their organisation, Jim, to get the ball to the back of the maul quickly, and that gives Gareth Davies so many options.
Tap back, Chris Henry tidies. That was knocked forward, I think, by Jake Ball. Referee playing advantage to Ulster from the knock forward, and Ulster get the penalty. Now, don't be surprised if John Cooney has a go at the post. There was the initial one. It was knocked backward, pulled in by Chris Henry. Ball came through and slapped it down. Don't think that was deliberate, but then he got himself penalised on the ground, I do believe. Let's have another look at that, Tony. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's probably deliberately knocked on. Burns actually done well, because first of all he's put Chris Henry off, then he lands and he's able to get through. And deliberate knock on, yes. I think it was a good call by the referee, saw that quite clearly, happy to give the penalty. And Cooney's got a chance here. I would imagine he'll fancy, he certainly should have the distance from here, Jim. Wind will play a bit of an element in terms of trying to control the flight of the ball, but it's well within his compass.
Kicking towards the War Memorial stand, which houses the Nevin Spence Centre. Well worth a trip if you're coming here to the Kingspan Stadium. Mr. warming up a replacement, incidentally. More of that in a moment. Looks like Stuart McCluskey is going off the field and Tommy Bowe has come on. But here's Cooney to level it all up. It needs to come back. And it has done. They took their time. The assistant referees or touch judges in old money. But John Cooney judged that one to perfection. A bit of a breeze. I thought he'd pushed it to the far post, but back in it came. What a very clever kick.
Yeah, lovely. Great strike as well. 2-3 step, just sends it outside the left, and just that little fade wind brings it through, and plenty of distance in that as well, Jim.
Tommy Bowe has come on the field, taken in by Louis Ludick. Stuart McCluskey with a blood injury, so he shouldn't be too long. Cooney, he's given that a lot of height. That could be an interesting one. Knocked forward, I think, by the Scarlets. Ludick, Herbst, Henry, McCall. Good pass by McCall. And again, Liliafano decides to kick. This time, he finds Rhys Patchell. That's returned with a bit of interest. Well taken. Perhaps just a little bit too hard.
He showed the kick, just brought it down quick hand. That's the first thing Cooney's done wrong in 3 games, June. But Ulster, obviously, you just see Liafano the show and go, and Cooney coming from depth as well. He had good pace on that, but tactically from Ulster, the word is let's play field and let's play territory. Get down in there, let's establish some position, try and strangle the Scarlets in their own half and keep ourselves in the game.
I think the retreating Andrew Trimble might just have distracted John Cooney somewhat. Into the second quarter of the game, 3 apiece.
Set.
Gareth Davis called up to the Lions tour, didn't get a game. Patchell, big hit in the middle of the park there by Ulster. McNichol, flattened, but he's got it away well, and Hadley Parks does it. And that's into touch, and Ulster will get the line out. There's a lot of speed of both thought and execution there by the Scarlets, and Steph Evans coming right round from his left wing.
Clever, wasn't it? You see Hadley Parks, Patchell with the wide miss ball. It's McNichol who rides the tackle, then the offload. Parks, just a wee ball out the back. They have a few tricks, Jim, don't they?
They certainly do. They've won 9 league games in a row. If they win this one tonight, it'll be a club record equaling performance. Better by Ulster. Treadwell.
Back.
Cooney. Big challenge there, and well taken in by Johnny McNichol, the Scarlets left wing. Jake Ball takes it on. Tagburn out in the middle of the park. Scott Williams. Oh, back inside the Lee Halfpenny. Terrific tackle from who else? John Cooney. Gareth Davis is opposite number. Patchell, loose head prop, Rob Evans. Part of an all-international front row. Steph Evans. Can't be allowed any room whatsoever. Top try scorer last year in the competition. That's knocked forward. And it's going to be a scrum to Ulster. So Ulster's defence is not too bad.
No, Cooney's just about doing everybody's job though, isn't he? He's impressive with ball in hand, making some big tackles. And there's Patchell this time. Cooney just going shoulder to shoulder with him, but you must do that against Patchell. He likes to play in the gain line. On this occasion, Joe Barkley just maybe, I don't think the pass was maybe intended for him, Jim. I think he was, Patchell maybe looking for the missed one. And Barkley just couldn't help but have a nibble at it.
John Barkley, the oldest member of the Scarlets starting 15, the 31-year-old, born in Hong Kong, incidentally. Good bit of defending by Ulster's newly returned centre Luke Marshall. Missed the opening 2 games because of the Irish squad protocol system. Lee Halfpenny put that contact lens back in again.
Yes, I can hear you.
Ooh. I thought we had to be past the 9 o'clock watershed to see things like that.
It's not the easiest.
It's not too gruesome, is it?
It's not the easiest thing to do at the best of times.
No. Well, if you're remotely squeamish about that, then well, I'm sorry.
Can you please go outside? Yeah. Okay.
He's still having a bit of bother. No, he seems to be fine. And as ever, Sparky is fine, trying to encourage this crowd here at Ravenhill. Maybe not just as many as there were a fortnight ago for the Cheetahs game, but something in the region of 13,500, 14,000, it's reckoned. Almost 23 minutes gone, 3 apiece. There's Matthew Ray.
Crouch!
Came through the underage system with Ulster, 18s, 19s and 20s. We have a handful of former Ballymena Academy pupils in this Ulster squad. Cooney, Marshall, gets past Patchell. Tommy Bowe playing at outside centre. Marshall has moved into the inside centre position. Cooney, that's a tantalising hoof. Knocked back. One on the ground by Kyle McCall, who flung himself down with aplomb. Cooney. Sean Reedy. That could go anywhere. Oh, it's gone into the arms of Jacob Stockdale, who's found Tommy Bowe, who's found Kieran Treadwell, who's found the 22. Now it's Cooney. Front foot stuff now from Ulster. Liliafano. Bit of width on it. McCall. What a great take by the chunky little loose head prop, and what a great leg drive by McCall. Cooney, referee's got the hand out for a penalty to Ulster. Liliafano taken on by Rob Herring. Advantage to Ulster. This has got the crowd in full voice now. Matthew Ray makes ground. Alan O'Connor gets past the first tackler. Dummy by Cooney. Referee must be still playing advantage, I have a feeling. Rob Herring. Rhys Patchell made the tackle. A lot of Scarlets jerseys out there. Liliafano's not too far away. Hold down with 5 metres to go. Cooney to Andrew Trimble. Cooney again in the middle of everything. Advantage, of a feeling, will probably be over. Here goes Rob Herring. All the pressure coming from the home forwards. Chris Henry.
Advantage is over now.
Referee has said, you may have heard, that the advantage is now over. Here goes Alan O'Connor. Cooney. Liliafano. Tommy Bowe. Gets it to Luke Marshall. Good step by Marshall. And equally good defending by the Scarlets. Ulster have to come out of this with points.
No problem. Stay back.
Now they have the ball, and there's the drive. Louis Ludick adding his weight to proceedings. Cooney again. Herring. As he squeezed that back, he has. And still Ulster move forward, and Jacob Stockdale's in there. There's not a lot of people out wide just in case it's turned over and moved by the Scarlets, but that hasn't happened. And here go the Ulster forwards again. That's a great taken drive by Matthew Ray, and it's been turned over. Just lost in the contact, and the Scarlets have got themselves out of jail, and all they'll want to do now is get this into touch. Back to Pacho, under a bit of pressure, but gets it away, and full marks to the Scarlets for a splendid piece of defending.
Yeah, brilliant. I think it was Matty Ray, Jim. Ulster initially opened this up with a speculative kick, prodigious leap by Stockdale, and he gets the ball free, hands, quick transfer, and then Ulster, great composure, clinical in terms of the way they moved it around, and Cooney on this occasion moves the ball, and I think it's Matthew Ray, and it's Hadley Parks just strips it off him as he goes through. You see Parks here, 13, just manages to rip the ball away, and Scarlet's clear.
Strong New Zealander Hadley Parks.
Yeah, but
Tommy Bowe has left the field, having made an impression, and Stuart McCluskey is back on again with a bit of tape around the old noggin.
It's champion-like defence though, Jim, isn't it, from the Scarlets?
Yes.
You know, organised, no panic buttons pressed, first up tackles made, happy to let Ulster have the ball.
Henry won that at the front. Here's McCluskey back into the fray. Gets across the gain line. Trimble. Head down. Kyle McCall. Very nearly Ulster getting through again. They've got past that first line of defence. Here's Luke Marshall. Runs into Samson Lee. Not the greatest idea in the world, I'm sure. Cooney. Vian Herbst. Showing a lot of beef and bite, this Ulster forward pack. There's Treadwell.
Still is good, no rock form.
Referee said it was no ruck ball, so what the Scarlets did there, but feeling it was John Barkley, was perfectly legal. Are they going to try to run it? No, they're not. That's a serious piece of kicking there. Louis Ludick takes it quickly to himself. He's got Andrew Trimble with him. That was not forward, I don't think, Andrew Trimble. Ulster conceded some 50 metres. That was very dangerous. Stockdale gets away and still goes up to halfway. Ulster get a rare penalty.
I'm not sure if he was offside. He's pinged Gareth Davies, but he was coming at such speed from depth. He looked offside. Be interesting to see it in slow-mo. Ulster using a little bit of variation, Jim. It's easy to go on about the fact that Daisel's not playing and Coetzee not playing, and Ulster have struggled this evening to get over that gain line. But what we see them employ, we see the likes of Ludick, Trimble coming close to ruck, trying to blow that corner. We see a bit of pick and go. They are trying the variations.
Well, what a kick out of hand by Christian Lealiafano. It was an extraordinary piece of skills. Nice little pirouette there by the big fella, Jacob Stockdale. There's Treadwell. Right over there was the wily old fox himself, John Barkley.
Marius Maitreya got that spot on.
You can see why he's played 63 times for Scotland. Treadwell has the ball there. Ulster like to try and straighten if they possibly can.
No,
They've gone round in a bit of a circle, but they still have possession. Sean Reedy just holding on to the ball. Referee's having a good look. Shingler's not exactly moving back to an onside position. John Cooney gets himself caught by another former Leinsterman, Tadhg Byrne.
I think it's white. I think black, yeah, ripped out by black, white line out.
The referee says the ball was ripped into touch by Black, which is the Scarlets, so it's an Ulster line out. Almost half an hour gone. It's flown in, Tony.
It has, Jim. You can see why Tadhg Byrne's stock has really risen as well. A man not wanted in Leinster rugby 2-3 years ago has reinvented himself at the Scarlets. This is him with the blue scrum cap on. Straight through the middle of the ruck. Perfectly legal, and we've seen a lot of him this evening. Good tackles. He's been disruptive in the line out as well. He's a big presence in this game.
Herring.
Ball.
Good take by Alan O'Connor. It's a good drive by the Ulster pack. And the Scarlets just creaking a little bit. A few more Ulstermen join in there. And they're still moving. That's good refereeing too. Lealiafano has the ball in his hands. He can't quite wriggle over, but he's made it available. Cooney Louis Ludic, he's in. Referee's having a really good look. He is saying, without going upstairs, that the ball was held up, but he's come back for the penalty. Well, that was very nearly the try that Ulster's pressure should have, well, made sure of.
Yeah, we mentioned the Scarlets line out earlier on. Great organisation from Ulster. Leofano, Andrew Trimble adding weight. Leofano almost manages to commando roll over there. Has the presence of mind to get the ball back in his own side. And he gets that man Byrne once again, gets his body underneath. And does enough to stop Ludic getting down. Rob Evans, Scarlet's loose head prop, helping him out. But oh, so close for Ulster.
Louis Ludic was pretty close there to getting his 10th league try. And Ulster skipper has decided that he wants John Cooney to give his team the lead. There's the great bewhiskered one, Mr. Jake Ball, born in Ascot of all places, some 26 years ago. 26 Welsh caps. A nasty swirling breeze blowing at the moment, so it's not the easiest of kicks for John Cooney. That's what he's aiming for. And he's hit that one equally well as the first. And for the first time in this game, and we played over half an hour, Ulster go into the lead. About 8.5 minutes to the interval, and 6-3 to Ulster.
And well deserving from Ulster as well, Jim. Territory and possession, specifically the last 20-25 minutes. Good composure in the Llanelli half. They've hung on to the ball well. They've shown some nice variation. Cooney and Leofano controlling things nicely for the team in white.
Reece Patchell. Ludic. Bit of a slow release there by Ulster, and a bit of a fumble, and they're lost a metre or two. Cooney decides to have a go himself, and it's not a bad go. He's got away, and he slipped it away to Leofano. Now, has this fella got a bit of gas? He certainly has, but good defending again by the Scarlets. Ulster come thundering in. The referee has the hand out for a penalty. Little chip kick through by McCluskey. Gathered in by the Scarlets, but the penalty had been awarded, and a chance for Ulster to garner another 3 points. That was a really good counter-attack by the home side.
Yeah, Cooney did well initially, having his leg held, decided not to pass, jinked and went through. Leofano running with us, so we see Cooney steps and just goes, but what Leofano does well, Jimmy, runs straight down the path of the ball, looking around him, keeping the ball in two hands. Gareth Davies, who is the tackler, who then the referee claims doesn't release us, and that's who he's pinged. And it should be a relatively straightforward 3 for Cooney after his opening 2 efforts, but again 9 and 10 for Ulster. They look as if they've played together for years, don't they? So comfortable.
Well, he's come on a 5-month contract, Christian Leofano, captain of the Brumbies. Will have to go back in the new year. Can we pass around the hat and keep him maybe?
I think it maybe starts tonight. It's his game management, Jim, this evening that's been good. He's chose the right opportunity to pass. He's chose the right opportunity to kick. But we've seen him as well. He's more than comfortable as a centre with ball in hand, having a dart himself, and keeps opposition back rows so honest.
Oh, another good kick by John Cooney. Further out, but straight in front of the post, and most importantly, straight between the posts. 6.5 minutes to the interval, and Ulster leading by 6 points, 9-3 to Chris Henry's side.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Netherlands Scarlets do something similar. Their opening 3 kickoffs have all been split, with Patchell kicking down the right. Nope, it looks to be he's going short this time.
Very nearly gathered in. Now Ulster a little bit hesitant there. Ball knocked forward by the Scarlets' hand, one of the chasing players, and that's going to give Ulster this scrummage. Thought Ulster might just have got to that one. Look, Marshall jumped. It was a clever variation. You mentioned the variation, and Reece Patchell just put a little backspin on that.
But I think that's something, Jim, that you'll find from the Scarlets. It's a way that Wayne Pivac sets his teams up. They're all comfortable handlers from 1 to 15. If something's not on, they're happy to try It was a kick-off in this occasion, but we'll see them chop numbers, we'll see them in the line-out, we'll see them switch guys around in midfield as well, and they'll always keep the opposition guessing.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Good solid-looking Ulster scrum following a good strike by Rob Herring. Eliafano, Luke Marshall. Ludick knocks it forward. Ulster being a bit on the ambitious side, nearly paid off, mind you. Ludick follows it up with a tackle. Referee playing advantage to the Scarlets from a knock forward by Ulster, and Ulster didn't need to give that ball away, did they?
Just a little bit of a shovel from Marshall. We see the decoy from outrunners, and it's Ludick coming in a short line, and maybe just needed a little bit more sympathy just with the flight of the ball. Almost needed to be set there for him rather than perhaps forced, but the intent was good, Jim, again, and it's nice to see the subtle variation away from just the Bosch ball with Stuart McCluskey. With Stuart McCluskey, sorry.
Sean Reedy picked originally at 7 for this game. Now capped twice by Ireland against South Africa over a year ago, and most recently against Japan. And a penalty against the Scarlets front row. Samson Lee guilty of just bringing his elbow in, pulling down and twisting in. Marius Maitreya right on the money there. And a chance for Ulster to get deep into the Scarlets' territory with about 4 minutes remaining.
A little bit of an interesting differentiation in Ulster's setup defensively there, Jim, at the scrum. Inexperienced Matty Ray put to the number 8 position with the 2 out-and-out open sides holding the flank, and just gives Ulster a little bit more eyes up. Gives Ray a chance maybe just to run that slightly straighter line inside and let the 2 dogs of war go hunting for spoils.
Ray has moved to 2 in the line out for Ulster. Behind him, Alan O'Connor. Rob Herring finds O'Connor. Cooney. Eliafano. There's McCluskey. And he has made ground yet again. Cooney. Kieran Treadwell. Eliafano. Louis Ludick. Hint of a high tackle there. He's made it available. Also have a man down injured. Kyle McCall. Treadwell seems to be fine again. Cooney, well taken by Eliafano. Chris Henry, Ulster's captain. Cooney again. McCluskey. Knocked forward by Marshall. Ulster will have to be quick here. They need to get this ball into touch. Lee Halfpenny. Look at the way the Scarlets want to play this game. It's like sevens. Ball has gone loose. Still there though for the Scarlets. There's under 3 minutes remaining. Scarlets capable of scoring. Ulster have turned that one over.
It's your hand holding them. Don't put your foot in there.
Fian Herbst. Cooney to the open side. Alan O'Connor takes on Rhys Patchell. Matthew Ray needs to make sure the ball comes back. This time he does. Cooney, Liliafano, Trimble, nicely done. McCluskey, that's come off the Scarlets defender, in this case Lee Halfpenny, and that should be an Ulster line out.
You dive on the ball, so
well, 9-3, no tries, Tony, but it's been a hugely competitive game of rugby, as we suspected it would be.
Yeah, it's been real helter-skelter. Both teams happy to keep ball in hand, happy on this occasion. Ulster, great turnover by Sean Reedy in midfield, because the Scarlets looked as if they were just going to rip open a hole there in the Ulster defence, and Reedy did well, but it's just a transfer, Jim. Ulster have, they've been guilty of giving away 2 or 3 soft passes. There's another knock on as well, and some of those basics just not on the money.
Yes, Kieran Treadwell caught the ball and probably should have given it straight away. Instead he brought it down, and that little delay in the pass to Cooney, which he wasn't expecting it at that angle.
Yeah, and the reason Jumper brings the ball down to try and pull the defensive system offside. You give the ball off the top, and sometimes what you get are those back row forwards and other forwards pilfering through the gap and putting pressure in 9, and sometimes closing the channel down to 10. Why the Jumper brings it down is just to try and pull a penalty and pull somebody offside.
Crouch.
Just a minute remaining. Ulster will be very keen to hang on to this 6-point lead. Better scrum by the Scarlets. First bit of genuine pressure on their own put in. Scrum has collapsed. Barkley, Gareth Davis, Patchell, little crossfield kick. Well taken by Ulster. Now here goes Stockdale. Back inside to Cooney. Sean Reedy. 30 seconds to go. Can Ulster conjure something up? Luke Marshall took it well. Not sure who that pass was meant for, but he's gathered it. Cooney. Louis Ludick. Taken on by Matthew Ray. Liliafano. McCluskey. Had a man inside him.
Rock now, stay back. Flat. No.
Good chance on this narrow side, but
Use that. Okay.
Ulster doing it fairly orthodoxly. That's Vian Herbst, helped by his fellow prop, Kyle McCall. Cooney. Switch to Liliafano. That's wide and knocked on by Rob Herring, and that should be half-time, and it is half-time, so Ulster in the opposition half and in the ascendancy, and in terms of the scoreboard, looking not too bad at all, Tony. Long way to go.
Yeah, there is a long way to go, but the Ulster coaching team be really happy. It's been a good first half. It's been full of, there's been vim and vigour there, Jim. If I had one criticism, I'd say they look a little bit unstructured at phase play. It just looks a little bit broken down. Not quite tying all the sums together, but that can be improved on. But certainly Ulster be very happy, and to go in at half-time, points in the lead. Very happy indeed.
Good combination at half-back, 9 and 10 for Ulster. John Cooney and Christian Liliafano, when they get the chance, have the ability to dominate this game. One or two travelling fans might not be all that desperately happy, but Ulster will be happy, and the Ulster coaching team will be happy, because at half-time, Ulster leading the champions. It's Ulster 9 and the Scarlets 3.
Well, Chris Henry's Ulster lead a feisty at times affair at the Kingspan Stadium, but it's Ulster who are in front against the Scarlets. 3 penalties to the good from John Cooney. Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan are with me. Lots to discuss in that first half. And Stephen, that's been a good performance from an Ulster point of view.
It has been. I think Ulster tonight have been tactically very astute. The 9 and 10 are playing the game in the right areas. They know they don't have the big ball carriers to get 5-10 metres when they're getting round the corner. So when it's not on 2 or 3 phases later, they're putting the ball in behind them. Liliafano, time after time, pinning this Scarlets team back. This Scarlets team want to run. They ran the ball in the opening 10 minutes. They looked unbelievable, but when Ulster put them back in their own line, try and offloads 5 metres out, it's just, you just can't get away with that. So fair play from an Ulster point of view. Tactically, they've got it spot on so far.
Yeah, Eddie, the Scarlets looked very confident from the start. They looked like champions, but Ulster seemed to have been able to kind of suck that momentum out of the start that they had.
Well, I think they were very vigilant at the start. Ulster, they got caught a couple of times out wide, and it was very evident where the Scarlets are going every chance they got. They got better spacing, and as the half wore on, Ulster looked more comfortably on defence. They were able to manage the Scarlets pretty well, and since then the Scarlets haven't had any real penetration apart from off turnover ball, which is always dangerous against the Scarlets. But by and large, the defensive performance has been very good. As Stephen said, they've played the game in the right areas. They've dominated possession territory, which has been very important. Probably the only thing at the moment is they have been able to break down the Scarlets in terms of phase play. And it's been based on the fact they've taken a lot of long passes off the line and carrying into contact. The Scarlets have got round the corner and met them head on, so they're finding it hard to build momentum into their continuity play, and that's could be stunting their ability to probably make some line breaks.
Cooney and Leo Lefano, half-back partnership for Ulster. How impressed have you been with the way they've been controlling the game at times?
They've been superb, and I think everybody was really eager to see how John Cooney would go against this good Scarlets team, because obviously he's had it pretty easy the last couple of weeks against the Cheetahs and against Benetton. So tonight they're not having it all their own way, but anytime there's an opportunity, they put the ball in behind them, they make the right pass. John Cooney, somebody holding on to his ankle, he knew it wasn't on, he went for the half break, got there. Who's there? Liliafano on his inside. They seem to be working really well. I know Jim referred to it in his commentary. It looks like they've been playing together for a long time. They must be practicing a lot in training, because they look very, very slick.
Some things they tried didn't quite work out. They are a new combination, Eddie. But the two of them have looked very, very composed, haven't they?
They have indeed, yeah. And as I said, they will get better with every game. You see the Scarlets here going wide every opportunity. out the back. It's an out the back pass. But Ulster early in the game got caught a little bit, and they looked vulnerable. But I think as the halves worn on, they've got that spacing much better. You see Cooney here breaking out. Lila Fana runs a trailer line up the middle of the pitch, and it's from these kind of breakouts you'd want Ulster to finish it off and score. But they kind of go back into their shape, which is the one-off runner a little bit wide. And to be fair, the Scarlets are a good defensive team as well. They're not going to give anything away too easily. They get back, they build a line, they wrap around very quickly. So space is at a premium out there. But you just like to see Ulster maybe with the possession and territory, maybe getting across the goal line, scoring a try, and that would change the whole dynamic of the game.
Yeah, we can take a look at a couple of the opportunities that Ulster had. They'll be pleased, Stephen, with the chances that they've created, but as Eddie said, will be disappointed they couldn't finish them off.
They'll be pleased. You know, Jacob Stockdale attacks the ball. You came from the outside in. Every good winger should be doing. Gets up, beats his man. I think it was Tommy Bowe there on his inside. But, you know, Tommy goes for a little bit of an outside break there. Once they get 5 metres out, they got to turn this into points. I think it was Matty Ray at the end of this clip gets turned over on the line. But again, Eddie referred to it. This Scarlets team aren't going to be broken down easily. Yes, they've got an amazing attack, but they've also got a good defence, and these boys hit hard. So just a little bit more patience for me. So when they do get here, those one-out runners, maybe they were getting a bit of change out of the pick and go up the middle of the pitch from the 22-yard line.
I think that's been a good dividend for them, because if you look at the numbers off the rucks, the Scarlets are comfortable numbers-wise. They're not scrambling at any point. Maybe one overlap, but never 2 or 3. So they're able to get off the line very aggressively. If your numbers are good, you can get off the line, you can meet the collision, you can stop the advance. So Ulster maybe need to pick and jam around the sides a bit more. We saw Cooney getting around the corner there, line break up the middle of the pitch. That will make the Scarlets condense a bit, and then you'll have more space in the corners. But it's getting that balance right. But at the moment, I think overall we say very good performance by Ulster. Certainly controlling the game. Question is now, can they take that on?
Ulster line out tonight has functioned well too, minus Robbie Diak, who's been a good performer, solid so far this season.
Yes, been exceptional, and I think I spoke to you during the first half there that it's great to see. You know, Robbie Diak's obviously on the bench in case things didn't go to plan tonight, but the two lads in there, Ciarán Treadwell, Al O'Connor, both performing well. I think I've been really impressed with Alan O'Connor as well, with his ball carrying. He's been taking a lot of ball and he's been given the Ulster front football, but you know, John O'Gibbs will be really impressed with this. There's a bit of momentum. Next thing, you have big Stuart McCluskey, Leo Fano in there, and they get the momentum where they get over. They're maybe close to getting a penalty try here because the referee does give an advantage, and it's unlucky they didn't cross, but again, it's a small opportunity.
But I think penalty tries have been awarded for that. I think the referee backed out of that one. I think he could have given, I mean, that maul was going over the line if it wasn't pulled down, so if it goes over the line it's a try. I think he should have given a penalty try. But again, probably the thing Ulster will look at that might worry us a little bit is they have dominated territory, they've dominated position, they've had a few great opportunities, line breaks from the halfway line that they didn't finish out, and that maul there, finishing out there. The problem with this is when you dominate a team and you don't put them away, there's a chance they'll come back into. And we know the Scarlets.
How many times have you said that?
Yeah, and the Scarlets are a team that can do that. The Scarlets will be disappointed, but they won't be worried. Because I think they've taken a lot from Ulster and they haven't cracked. 6 points is 6 points, but it's still a one-score game, and you'd like to see Ulster maybe nudging it a bit further than that.
Okay, let's pause for the moment and hear from one of Ulster's British and Irish Lions. Jared Payne is with Gavin.
Stephen, thank you. Jared, we saw Rory Best on crutches tonight. Pretty worrying. How are you after a summer and a big injury down with the Lions?
Yeah, good. Been training away the last couple of weeks, and I'm just looking forward to getting back to playing rugby and stop training, to tell you the truth.
Head knock, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was a couple of bangs in that Chiefs game, and then had a few headaches for a few months there, but fingers crossed they're clearing up and hopefully I can get back out there.
How much did you just enjoy that experience being down at home, I suppose?
Oh, it was class. It was something I never thought would happen, so it was good to get back home, play rugby against some old friends and see some old mates and meet some new ones in the Lions team, so it was it was class.
Yeah, some of your mates for the Scarlets out there today, Ulster have been pretty good holding them first half.
Yeah, I think they've been pretty good. We've used the space in the backfield that they've given us, and Christian's kicked out of hand very well. I think once we're in the 22, maybe look after the ball a bit more, but apart from that, I think keep doing what we're doing and hopefully we can come out on the right side.
Some of the big names out, some of the key players, the Lions and Marcel Coetzee, the likes of those guys not here. But how many pluses do you see from what you've seen from the Ulster squad tonight?
I think it's good. We can't rely on one or two players. You've got to have a team and a structure that can win games, and I think tonight's showing that boys are fitting in pretty well and doing their job, so it's good positive signs for Ulster.
Is that half-back combination looking good for you?
It is. I think they're performing pretty well. Christian's a class player. It's the first I've seen of him really, and Coons is doing a great job giving him a platform to run onto.
So what's the message going to be in that Ulster dressing room at half-time?
Hopefully tidy up the areas when we're in the 22, look after the ball a bit more, and potentially some of our spacing on D. They've probably got to the edges a few times, a bit easy, so hopefully we can tidy that up and really squeeze them.
How much are you itching to get back, and when will you be back?
Oh, I can't wait. Just seeing a night like this and you're not playing, it's pretty heartbreaking to tell you the truth. So hopefully I'll be back in the next couple of weeks, everything going well. So fingers crossed, and as I say, can't wait.
Good man, see you then.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers.
Well, Jared Payne, obviously Rory Best, Ian Henderson, Ulster's Lions were never available to play tonight. They were being slowly worked back in, whereas the Scarlets tonight have some of their Lions playing. Stephen, I mean, what do you make of the IRFU policy? It's disappointing for the fans tonight when the Scarlets have theirs and Ulster can't see their players.
It is, but I suppose from the boys' point of view, they've had a massive summer. It was a big year playing international rugby. But
so have the Scarlets players.
Yeah, true, but that's the way it is. That's the policy they've put in place.
Well, this policy is all my fault, by the way.
I'm coming to that.
Is this why you asked me the question?
Yeah.
But in fairness, the Irish team have performed well over the last couple of years. It seems to be rubbing off well, the policy on the Irish team. But when it comes to the provinces, I'm not 100% sure about it. We would all love to see Rory Best, Big Ian Henderson and Jared out there if he was available. I think it's just not the case.
I think early in the season it's understandable because of the long summer. Like the boys didn't get home from New Zealand until into July. But I think it's during the year when we have the interprovincial derbies. You'd like to see everybody pitching up for those, but they're the ones that are diluted. They're probably the most frustrating.
It's fair to say it started under your tenure as the Irish coach. Yeah. Do you think they've even taken it too far now and they're setting out too many games?
I think they've started to micromanage players. I mean, in my time it was very simple. Because they didn't get June for holidays, they got July, and that meant they started later, which was the end of September. But now they seem to be in and out and up and down, and they measure the games almost to the minute. And I think that is problematic, and it's very hard to manage in terms of planning for the provinces, like knowing exactly when you'll have people and how often you'll have them. And then if there's an injury in the middle of that, it throws everything out of kilter. So it is more micromanaged and probably harder from the provincial point of view.
But Ulster, without some of their big name players tonight, Stephen, are performing admirably. They lead by 6 points. What's going to be the key for them to finish the job off tonight?
I think for me, if I was in that team right now, I'd be saying to do exactly the same thing, keep putting the ball in the right areas of the pitch. But from a Scarlets point of view, they'd be very disappointed with the way they played. They coughed the ball up too easily. They went wide when they should be going up the middle, trying to shorten the line, and they definitely underperformed. So they are going to get a purple patch. Ulster have to be on the money in their defence, and when they do get an opportunity, as Eddie touched on, they've got to take it.
And briefly, Eddie, Ulster need to start the second half better than they did the first, when they give a lot of penalties away in the first 5
10 minutes. But whether they have or haven't got the ball, they've got to play well. If they have it, maybe score. If they don't, at least don't let the Scarlets score, and that will set the tone for the second half.
Okay, Eddie, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. It's back to Tony and Jim.
Just 6 points between them, but really this game is very, very finely balanced. It is the most perfect night here at the Kingspan Stadium at Ravenhill. I can tell you there aren't any changes on the two sides. Rhys Patchell going to get the second half underway, relieved of the kicking duties because Lee Halfpenny is in the side. He won't mind that at all. He scored 25 points in the opening 2 games, so the Scarlets' top point scorer gets the second half underway. And as ever, he's put that long and straight into the welcoming arms of Louis Ludock. That looked like a high tackle, but the referee said no, off the shoulder by Johnny McNichol. Crowd disagreed, needless to say. John Cooney, who's now got 25 points himself in his opening 3 league games for his new province. Stuart McCluskey sets it up. Lealiafano. Marshall. Good to see him back playing again. That familiar white bit of headgear. Lealiafano took it nicely. Matthew Ray ran a good curve. Cooney, Lealiafano tried to slip it away. He's well tackled by Adam Shingler, among others. Ludick. Positive start by Ulster. Ripped out of the hands of Louis Ludock by the very strong Scott Williams, who managed to knock it forward, so Ulster will get possession. Interesting start.
Yeah, that's one of those from Scott Williams, Jim. He's done all the hard work and yet he gets penalised. Ludick carries the ball in. Williams, immense upper strength. just ripping the ball, and then it comes out and it goes forward off him, and he almost feels as if he's been robbed there, doesn't he? But he's done the hard bit.
I think also will be very glad that he knocked that forward. First scrum of the second half. Get a chance to see what's going on this near side of the scrum, where Samson Lee is up against Ulster's Kyle McCall. And packing in behind Kyle McCall is Matthew Ray.
Set. Okay, he's good now.
Good scrum by Ulster. Eliafano takes it flat. McCluskey. And the Scarlets were up very quickly. Steph Evans came off his wing. And that surely is an offside. The crowd thought Aaron Shingler was well offside. McCall. Little show of the ball, carries it in both hands. Great skills for a prop forward. Here goes Ray again, who's been prominent. His opposite number, Shingler, takes him down. Whipped away, Ludick with Trimble outside him. Good angle by Ludick, and he's got away from the first tackler. And he wasn't held. Good appreciation of the laws of the game by Louis Ludick. McCluskey back inside to the ever-waiting Sean Reedy. Ulster on the front foot, Leliafano. Knocked backwards, we thought, but referee a lot closer. Just those fine touches again, Tony.
Yeah, we mentioned it in the first half, didn't we? There's the irresistible Louis Ludick. He does that so well. Just beats one tackle, beats two, keeps the ball alive, back in his feet. It's Herbs just gets caught in midfield. Big pressure from Byrne once again. He's really impressed me tonight, Jim. But what's quite evident from the Scarlets structurally, defensively, Jim, is that they're putting a lot of pressure on Stuart McCluskey. Scott Williams really firing up, not giving him room to try and get over the gain line, but also coming from out to in, trying to cut down that pass in this half whenever they're moving the ball from left to right.
Bind. Set.
Scarlet scrummage. And again, it's a solid one. Wee bit of a squeeze this time, and Ulster penalised. That was the first bit of forward dominance we've seen, and that's all about concentration, Tony. I mean, they were fine in the first half, and somebody just took their mind off it.
Yeah, they've driven a wide straight between Herbst and Rob Herring there. Rob Evans on this occasion. We talked about it in the first half. What he's so good at.
Is that not illegal?
Well, the referee's on the right side, and he's been happy to let it go. But Evans he's just able to torque himself on the outside. Just downward pressure. Herb's lost his binding there and went straight to ground.
And lost his footing as well, but the referee said that Herbs was dragging it down.
But Evans has that ability just to shuffle outside and squeeze. Ken Owens, bit Rory Best-like as well, Jim. Immensely powerful in the hooking department whenever it comes to scrum time.
Time off.
Well, that penalty has cost Ulster possession, and more importantly, it's cost them territory. Good kick from the hand by Rhys Patchell.
Here's the right.
And because it was a full penalty, it's going to be the Scarlets throw into the line out. That's I think 6 penalties Ulster have conceded so far.
Time on. Step, please.
And the problem with the penalties, Jim, apart from the Scarlets obviously kicking 1 for 3, every time they've gone to the corner, their line-out's been good. Their catch and drive has been really impressive.
Taken by Byrne, and would you believe it, Gareth Davis knocks that forward. Just a lapse of concentration from a man who was the first choice for Wales throughout the World Cup a couple of seasons ago, and played remarkably well, given that Rhys Webb had got himself injured in a warm-up game, and Gareth Davis filled in more than splendidly.
Yeah, he really should be taking that again. Structurally, the line-out's good. It's a good throw. The lifters have done the job well. Adam Burns taking that off the tag. Burns, sorry, he's taking that nicely off the top, and the scrum half will be disappointed there. Ulster maybe just need to have a look defensively, Jim, line-out time. Maybe getting an extra man or two in the air if they can.
Well, the scrum well outside Ulster's 22, so there's no real chance they've been kicked directly into touch. Scrum getting ominously low just before the put in there. Referee's going to have a word with them. They were pretty good boys in the first half, Tony, and now they've decided to do the old macho bit. Who's the stronger? Rob Evans looking at the assistant referee or touch judge on the far side, alleging, I think, that Vian Herbst is bringing him down.
Yeah, well, the protocol again, Jim, this year is for the referees. Don't stand in ceremony. I'm actually surprised that the referee, Maitreya, hasn't gone to free kick or hasn't gone to penalty so far. He's given away 1, but I don't think he'll let this messing and jockeying in the front row go too much longer. I think next one to go down there'll be a penalty and potentially maybe a yellow card if it persists.
Set.
John Cooney needs to get that in. It's a better looking scrum. Down goes Kyle McCall on one knee, but the referee's happy. That was a bit on the loopy side. McCluskey. And McCluskey's done well. He's made 10 precious metres. Cooney quickly. Liliafano. Oh, well taken by Stockdale. I thought it was going to be catastrophe for Ulster there. But they've still got the ball. Cooney has got it away. Liliafano is down injured, which Ulster don't really need. Cooney. McCluskey at outside half. Decides to have a go himself, taken by Tadhg Byrne.
It's your man on
Medical
top.
people on straight away, and it looks like a knee from Liliafano. Here goes Louis Ludock. Luke Marshall getting no change out of the Scarlets midfield. Cooney, who's been very good, gets it to Stockdale, who's in the middle of all that. Cooney again. Andrew Trimble, good pass. Ludock has a go himself. Thought about the offload, but sensibly hung on to it. Well, Scott Williams not exactly onside. Vian Herbst, can he make it available? Yes, he can. McCluskey, outrageous dummy, needs a bit of help, gets it from Rob Herring. This is better stuff by Ulster. Matty Ray was in there as well. Referee having a good look and said it was knocked forward by Ulster. Crowd screaming for a penalty, and here comes Steph Evans, who has got serious pace, and Luke Marshall's going to have to be quick, and Luke Marshall is quick. He's got back and he's got down and he's got up, and he's well supported by the covering Sean Reedy. And that's the best thing you have to say that Luke Marshall has done in this game. He's done some good things, but that really was a try and maybe even a match-saving bit of covering. Ulster come away with it. Liliafano is up on his feet, and Ulster put the ball into touch, and Liliafano looks as if he's just got a bit of a thump. I thought it was his leg there, Tony, but maybe it is and maybe it's not.
Yeah, they're maybe going to give him a minute, Jim, see if he can run it off, but we just see the tackle here. He just gets hit. It's just, I don't think there's too much wrong there. Defender's committed, and he's taking a good smack in the ribs, and just as he's going off his feet.
Were there arms involved, or was it just his shoulder? I don't think there were arms involved there. The crowd's certainly looking at the big screens on opposite corners here at the Kingspan Stadium. Thought that tackle was a wee bit on the iffy side, however.
But that's what Eddie mentioned at half-time in terms of how good the Scarlets are, Jim, off turnover ball. Hadley Parks on this occasion gets the ball and just hammers it 60 down the field. Luke Marshall showed really good wheels to get back there because Steph Evans is really quick. Got back to his feet, managed to buy his covering players that extra 2 or 3 seconds just to get back, and also then seek solace from the touchline. But Scarlets are dangerous side on the counter-attack.
Luke Marshall's taking his headgear off. I think it's only temporary though, and the referee is going upstairs. I think he is going to have a look at that tackle, and if he decides, I don't know that it's going to be, would it be a yellow card? A penalty anyway.
Well, if it's a no-arm tackle, it's a yellow card.
Yes.
I think it's going to come down to interpretation, and again, Jim, sometimes these things on the super slow-mo tend to look worse than what they are in real life.
The ball was well away. Well, that's late, to be quite honest. If you look at that now, that is not only an illegal tackle with no arms, it's also late.
On the slow-mo, it looks late.
Bum.
Yeah, Hadley Parks it is. I'd like to see it though.
That's late.
At full speed, Jim.
That's late.
You know, I think by the time, if you actually look from that angle, Parks has stopped and has committed to come in and make the tackle. Yes, there's no arms there, and yes, it does look late on the slow-mo.
Well, the New Zealander has clattered the Australian.
Exactly.
Clock stopped with just over 8 minutes gone in the second half. 9-3 as it was at the interval. Christian Liliafano seems to be fine.
It is late.
Yeah, looks like he's bringing play back.
It is going to be a penalty. He's had a word with the Scarlet skipper, Ken Owens. And his TMO, Alan Falzoni, in his best Italian, needless to say, said to him, you should have a look at that, and it is going to be a penalty. And Ulster have the chance now, and a rather rueful smile on the face of Hadley Parks. And the man who was the recipient of a fairly hefty thump seems to be fine again. Oh, and what a kick. My word, what a kick.
I think there's a bit of venom in that, Jim. Takes a bit of an uppercut to the solar plexus, goes down and takes a knee, and then gets back up and sticks one right in the corner.
That's a take that, you rascal. Good take at the back by Ulster. Here goes Cooney. McCluskey barrels forward. Good support play by Kyle McCall. Cooney, look, Marshall. Ulster hung on to it, fooled just about everybody. Cooney again. Liliafano determined to show what he's made of after that rib-tickling tackle. And that, once again, is another great steal, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was tag burn for about the third time. So that's another turnover by the former Leinsterman and Ireland under-21 international. And just when Ulster were in a great position, and away by Rhys Patchell. Not into touch, Andrew Trimble. Louis Ludock needs a bit of help from somebody. Trimble comes in. Cooney, Ulster still on the front foot.
Ripped, play on.
And they've lost another one at the breakdown. John O'Gibbs will be incandescent. Steph Evans makes ground.
Leave it, White, 7. Leave it.
Ulster told to leave the ball alone. Chris Henry, the man in the spotlight. Davis takes his time. Ludock again. A number of Scarlets changes being made, more of them in a moment. Ludock on the ground. Cooney gets it away well. Matthew Ray took a big hit. Cooney again. Leafano. And again that teasing, tantalising kick. And this time he miscues it, but Ulster will come back for the penalty. Ulster have a man down injured again.
They also just need to have a look at their structure, Jim. The cleaning out at the breakdown is not good enough. It needs to be root and branch. Leafano goes through. There's one man in, that's powder puff stuff there from Reedy. He's got to root that guy out. Adam Burns, 6'7", 6'8", makes the tackle, releases. Just see him stripping the ball out on this occasion, but on 2 or 3 occasions, Ulster must get in and just blow that thing wide open. We've seen what Cooney can do given those situations in the first half, if it's on to pick and go as well. At the minute, there's too many guys watching, not enough guys working.
Well, Ulster have opted to go for the post.
We can check on the challenge. Alan?
And coming on is the Lions player of the series, Jonathan Evans. Louis Ludock getting up very, very gingerly. Scarlets are bringing on David Bulbring. Tommy Bowe on for Ulster.
Tommy Bowe onto the wing, Jim. Jacob Stockdale looks as if he's going to slide into the full-back position, so a little bit of reorganisation.
It is a long way out for John Cooney, and he struck that nicely. Come in. What a kick by Cooney! 4 out of 4 for Ulster's brand new shiny scrum half, and Ulster now 12-3 up, and Scarlets just beyond a losing bonus point, but a long way to go.
Cooney just has about every trick in the bag, Jim, doesn't he? So impressive in his opening 3 games. He's come here, look, with a lot to prove. He's come with a big set of shorts to try and fill as well, and he's really endearing himself to the Kingsband crowd. Mightily impressive.
Seem to be one or two additional changes. I can see Scott Williams going off. Yeah, Bulbring is on for number 4, Tommy Bowe. That was a horrible pass. Cooney. McCluskey. Nice footwork. Leafano waits. Well, Schindler allowed to come through there. Not allowed to interfere with the scrum half. That's not a great clearance kick. Here goes John Barkley. Good tackle by Kyle McCall.
It's pinned there, done.
Scrum. Thought the referee was going to give a penalty there, and Rob Evans was asking why he didn't give a penalty, but he'd given the scrum first.
You take your hand in your you take your life in your hands if you lie at the back of that ruck, because the referee is just busting to give something against you if you're technically in the wrong.
preventing him from rolling away. It's going to be a penalty. Break scrum.
Change at scrum half, Jim, for the Scarlets as well. We see Jonathan Evans replacing Gareth Davies.
A lot of times I've seen a number 25, but I'm assuming it is Jonathan Evans. I don't know what where his normal number 21 has gone to, but anyway, Jonathan Evans is on for Gareth Davies.
Crouch.
Pretty handy guy to
Line.
have.
Set.
13 minutes gone in the second half. 12-3 to Ulster. Evans, Patchell, Hadley Parks, halfpenny out wide. Initial tackle by Tommy Bowe wasn't terribly conclusive. Liliafano had to help. Evans gets it away. This is Bulbring, the replacement second row forward. Good defending in the middle of the park by the men in white. Good work by Liliafano, puts himself about a fair old bit. Evans, knocked forward by the Scarlets. Referee waiting for advantage. None has come to Ulster, but they will get the put into the scrum.
Just a little bit of reorganisation from the Scarlets. Jonathan Evans, the new scrum half, just slightly unsure as to primary receiver and primary runner, but Ulster do well to get out of the blocks, and that's the occasion, Jim, if Ulster can turn that ball over, if they're good enough to get hold of the ball and move it quickly. Didn't quite happen in this occasion. Yes, they've got the put in, but if that ball's available on the ground, if they can snaffle it, get it back to Cooney, 2 passes and go, that's whenever it's real time to strike.
Pensive Wayne Pivac with the baseball hat on.
Bye. Set.
Cooney having a wee glance to see where his halfback partner is. Better scrum. Liliafano. Luke Marshall. Has he overcooked that? He hasn't. Well taken though by Lee Halfpenny. Good pivot and catch. Liliafano has a go into the Scarlets half. Cooney slightly hampered. Good work by Treadwell. Cooney again. Marshall at outside half. Rob Herring not slow. Referee's having a good look to see what's going on the ground. Cooney, Marshall, Trimble, Tommy Bowe. Stockdale at scrum half. Kyle McCall. The Scarlets up very quickly. Liliafano taken on by Herring. Liliafano back inside to Marshall. Interception by the Scarlets. This could be dangerous. Shingler gets away. 9 points between them. A converted try could change the complexion of this game. Still there for the Scarlets. Patchell. Rob Evans, the loose head prop. Hadley Parks tries to get round Matty Ray, and the youngster brings him down. Now the Scarlets turn to apply pressure. Good tackle on Samson Lee. Jonathan Evans got it away, and there he is again. Jonathan Davies, the Lion himself. Good pass inside to Rob Evans, who's got a lot of pace. McNichol. Ulster managed to snaffle that. But as an Ulster player knocked it forward, and another Ulster player collected the ball when it was knocked forward, and that, as far as the law is concerned, is a penalty, which I've always found one of the most frustrating and silly laws in the game of rugby union football. A scrum at the worst.
The Scarlets, Jim, just again, they're good at the offload, are they? Rob Evans, good feet from a prop, gets the ball in 2 hands. That's very harsh because Tommy Bowe's almost got to make the tackle there, and it's ricocheted off his arm rather than him deliberately knocking the ball forward, and your first instinct always is to play the ball. Logic goes out the window when you just think ball, must go down on it, must have it. But Ulster again, they're just struggling with their phase play. They're not getting any change from those one-out runners. The Scarlets' defensive system looks good, but what they can do, they turn defence into attack so quickly.
Lee Halfpenny, who started off, and he's made no mistake with that, so all of a sudden it's the Scarlets back within a converted try of winning this game, and we'll hear some thoughts from Stephen Ferris.
Hi Jim, hi Tony. You know, this Ulster team, we knew the Scarlets were going to come with a little bit of a purple patch. I think that's just started. They got to weather the storm here. See, they're bringing on a few replacements. Big Robbie Diak coming on for Kieran Treadwell, but you know, they got to try and get possession, go through the phases, try and wear this team down and try and get above 7 points ahead, because this Scarlets team are dangerous, and if they're within a score, even in the 79th, 80th minute, you know they're in with a chance.
Long restart kick by Ulster. Good tackle by Lealiafano. John Andrew, wearing number 16, is on for Rob Herring, and Robbie Dark is on for Kieran Treadwell. That hasn't made a great deal of ground, and Ulster will have possession at the line-out. Jonathan Evans under a bit of pressure there.
It's good impact, Jim, from the two subs already. Diak and John Andrew straight into it. Diak with the big chase, big hit, and then Andrew pouring on the pressure around the side, forcing the mistake from the Scarlets replacement scrum half. Ulster have got a cracking chance here in terms of line-out options and attacking options.
They're taking Sean Reedy out of the line-out. That's a good take by O'Connor. Cooney gets it away. This is Sean Reedy. Past the first line of defence. Cooney again. Ulster needs something now from this situation. Into the 22. Lealiafano.
No, it's okay.
Little good. Flat pass. Marshall. Well met by a solid visiting defence. Alan O'Connor. Cooney. Still a bit of footwork there by Stuart McCuskey. Cooney again. Chris Henry. Tackled by Tag Byrne, who's been outstanding for the Scarlets.
Lost, thank you. He went down.
Cooney dug it out. Trimble. Jacob Stockdale. Crowd thought that was a bit on the high side. Referees had a look at his assistant on the near side. I'm not sure what was said. Cooney again. He's waiting. Lealiafano. Tommy Bowe managed to get it away to Robbie Diak. Good drive by the replacement utility forward. Cooney. Lealiafano. Trimble. Now it's Matt Ray. Oh, he's done well. Need this quickly. Now they've got it quickly. Here goes Alan O'Connor. Needs a wee bit of help. Gets it from Kyle McCall. Cooney. Good pressure by Ulster. Taken forward once again by Robbie Diak. Cooney. To Andrew Trimble. Still there for Ulster. Scarlets really digging in. That's gone wide. Too wide. And hacked on. This could be interesting. John Andrews pretty quick, and he'll have to be. Scarlets still have it. Scarlets just into the Ulster half, and no more from an Ulster handling error. There are men out wide, and the Scarlets can just retain possession. Hadley Park straightens. Well tackled. Here comes Patchell. McNichol outside him. It is going to be a try for the Scarlets. Conversion to come, and Scarlets now have the opportunity to put this game to bed.
Classic counter-attack, wasn't it? Just turnover, two possessions. Hadley Parks, he's had a big game again. Maybe a few years on the clock. Just see the loose pass again. Steph Evans, though, Jim does so well. John Andrew just unable to control, and it's Evans who keeps it alive, but Patchell to Parks. Parks looks up, steps inside Lealiafano, straightens, offload to Patchell. McNichol runs, good support line outside, and listen, you're not going to stop him from 40, never mind from 20.
And alas, when they look back at this, it came from an Ulster handling error, and that's, I guess, why these chaps are the champions.
Listen, you go away from home, you live off scraps. Ulster's problem tonight has been whenever they've coughed up opportunities. The Scarlets have scored points whenever they've had, any time they've been in the danger zone, that red zone, they've come away. Now they've manufactured that from 60, 70 metres, but Stevie Ferris mentioned it 5 minutes ago. They can go from anywhere, and they've just shown that as well.
Thank you. Good.
Scarlets have brought on Ryan Elias as replacement for the skipper Ken Owens in the meantime. It's the double British and Irish Lion, Lee Halfpenny, back from his sojourn in France. He doesn't miss them from there, does he? So back in the lead for the first time since the 8th minute of the first half. It's now Ulster 12 and the Llanelli Scarlets 13.
This is the acid test now, Jim, for Ulster. They've got 20 minutes. They've been well in this game this evening. They're well capable of coming back and winning this, and they're by no means out of it, but they now have to show some mettle.
Restart kick by Liliafano, taken by the try scorer, and he's got away from Dyack. That's just not good enough, really, and he's got away from another couple of Ulster defenders. There's a wee bit of extra impetus now in the Scarlets' play. Pacho. Nasty curving kick. Liliafano swiftly to Jacob Stockdale. Well, he's run straight into a couple of defenders.
Away, 8. Great.
Cooney. Robbie Dyack. Good work by Alan O'Connor. That looked forward. Tommy Bowe very nearly on the charge. Still there for Ulster. Great defending by the Scarlets. Liliafano. Not a great pass. John Andrew. Here goes McCluskey. Great work by McCluskey. Out to Sean Reedy. Reedy for the line. Back inside to Stockdale. And Stockdale is in. What a try by Jacob Stockdale. Set up by Sean Reedy. But that was a real team effort by Ulster, who have bounced back from the Scarlets try to score one of their own. And Jacob Stockdale got a try last week against Treviso, gets his 11th league try.
Yeah, lovely. The question was asked, Jim, and Ulster have answered. Leafano with the missed pass. Simple from Andrew, but look at McCluskey here. Comes inside, takes 2 defenders, circle pass, and really does nicely as well. Realises he doesn't have the angle or the gas. Stockdale, good trail line inside. At 6'5", 16.5 stone. You ain't stopping him from there. Great from McCluskey though, took the 2 defenders, opened his body up to create the blind side for Reedy, and Reedy did the simple, the obvious thing well.
Great strength from McCluskey, took 2 men on. Reedy timed the inside pass to perfection. Stockdale had to work, but he held off the challenge of Rhys Patchell. John Cooney. Very tight angle for Ulster's goal-kicking scrum half. Not quite. Not quite. But Ulster leading by 17 points to 13. And we'll hear from Eddie O'Sullivan.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm grand, Eddie. Say something wonderful.
Oh, well, I'm just delighted that Ulster responded so well immediately after giving up that score. They've dominated the second half and seem to be sucker punched, but they've bounced back again. They're back in control of the game. It's really important, though, that they control the ball and not bring Scarlets back into it, because that's been their bugbear in these situations.
Great take by Alan O'Connor, and he was attacked by his former Irish Under-20 Junior World Cup second row partner, Tadhg Byrne, who's played well for the Scarlets. Cooney, Liliafano, Luke Marshall. Not a bad little kick, well covered by John Barclay. Lee Halfpenny, who is quick, remember, he started his international career as a speedy wing 3/4. He hasn't lost much pace. Johnny McNicholl, the Scarlets try scorer. Evans. Ulster up very quickly. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack. Needs to get himself out of it. And he has done. Jonathan Evans. Patchell. Oh, nicely done there by Jonathan Davis. Halfpenny. That looked forward. Referee still playing on, and the ball has gone into touch, and that should be an Ulster line-out. They've taken it quickly, and Cooney takes it from Trimble, and that's a big wallop. Now, was that the right decision? We are about to find out. McNicholl. Aaron Shingler's taken off the white headband. Jonathan Evans. Parks. No room there in the middle of the park. No pun intended. Patchell, this is better stuff. There's the Lion himself, the man who's played in Every Lions test the last 2 tours. That look forward, here goes Steph Evans back inside. Wonderful response by the Scarlets, and Jonathan Davis right round for another Scarlets try. What a second half we're having, what a game of rugby we're having, and what a performance by both these sides.
Well, Jim, you asked if Andrew Trimble taking the quick throw in was the right option. I think Jonathan Davies had just answered for you. So comfortable with ball in hand. Ulster, though, again, Jim, they're very keen to hit in. Stevie Ferris mentioned in the first half about Ulster being just attacked round the fringes. Jared Payne mentioned it as well, just getting opened up on the outside, and Ulster have guilty Alan O'Connor, Robbie Diack. It's okay if you hit in and make the tackle, but if you get caught outside, you're gone. There's an overlap straight away, and it's simple hands from the Scarlets. John Barkley just roaming the wide passages. Evans does well again.
Was that last pass forward? Well, clearly not.
Okay.
Clearly not. Just that angle perhaps made it look so.
Again, if you lose your defensive structure against this sort of team with the ball playing ability they have, they're going to toast you.
The ball has fallen over, but he hadn't actually begun his run up, so the referees allowed him to retake it. Just over 11 minutes remaining, and this to give the Scarlets a 3-point lead, and Lee Halfpenny doesn't miss them from there, so it's Ulster 17 and the Scarlets 20, and as I said, we have about 11 minutes to go.
Jim, Ulster have been in complete control of this up until about the last 7 minutes, and then there's been 2 from the Scarlets and 1 from Ulster, and as the game has become more frantic, so the Scarlets have come into it with more structure in the game, and just Ulster playing that territory, that kicking game. They've been in control, and now the game's got a bit helter-skelter and they're behind and chasing it.
John Cooney has left to be replaced by the long-serving Paul Marshall.
Rock.
Back to Patchell. You know where he's going to put it. Into touch. Stockdale thought about taking it quickly. Changed his mind.
The Scarlets, Jim, that's all they want to do.
On the line, Black.
Dragons 21-8 at Rodney Parade against Connacht. And well, there's an interesting scoreline. Edinburgh 17, Benetton 20. Puts last week into perspective, perhaps. Stolen by Scarlets. That's replacement loose head prop Wyn Jones, another Welsh international, has come on. Scarlets 3 points to the good, and all they have to do is defend that lead. That's a huge kick by Rhys Patchell. Knocked back by Ulster. Paul Marshall.
Okay, just
John Andrew with
a
Reedy outside, and that was high by Tag Byrne. He knows it. Advantage being played to Ulster. Don't know that much is going to come from it. Ulster might be better just taking the kick down the line. Luke Marshall into a bit of space by Lealiafano. Oh, he's gathered it nicely. That's gone wide to McCluskey, who set up the try for Jacob Stockdale. There's another highest looking tackle there on Luke Marshall. Robbie Diack still a bit upright, but he's got it away. Paul Marshall, Trimble. Clive Ross, wearing number 20, has slipped on for Ulster. Fian Herbst down with a bit of a bang to the head, it would seem. Kyle McCall. 10.5 minutes remaining. Luke Marshall, well taken by Robbie Diack off the shoulder. Lealiafano, who's had another good game. Evans gets in the way. That's a penalty. So decision time for Ulster. Do they go to level the scores? I think they have to, Tony, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. In my book, Jim, you do. Now, in saying that, you've taken your primary goal kicker off, so John Cooney's not there anymore. But there's 10 minutes to play. There's still plenty. They also just need to keep themselves in the game here. As I said a minute or two ago, they just seem to have lost their structure. They seem to be playing wide for the sake of it, rather than actually just trying to. You can see what the Scarlets have done. They've got themselves in front. What they want to do, they just want to hammer the ball down and play territory. And also just a little bit too frenetic at this point in time. There's plenty of time for them.
Had a pretty good game this evening. Fian Herbst, replaced now by Irish international Rodney Ayew. And Christian Lealiafano is the man who's going to take over the goal kicking. And had this fella Pete Nelson been on time, it might well have been him, because it's the right side of the field for a left-footed round the corner kicker. But Pete Nelson is coming on, but I think it's too late to make any decision. Jacob Stockdale has gone off. His first kick for his new province. It's got underneath it. Oh, they like it. They like it. So we have a drawn game at the moment. 8.5 minutes to go, and it's Ulster 20 and the Scarlets 20.
Should we have doubted him, Jim? He does everything else so sweetly. Of course he can goal kick.
Patchell with a towering restart. Scarlets have brought on another replacement. Josh McLeod, the back row forward, has come on.
Nobody was blocking.
He's wearing number 20. Paul Marshall.
No, the tackle was inside. Tackle. Era placaggio ahí dentro.
Well, Paul Marshall's had a difficult time. His 18-month-old Luke is not enjoying great health at the moment, and it's a worrying time for Paul and the family. So our thoughts and prayers are with him. Challenged by Robbie Dyack, wasn't just good enough. Taken on by the Scarlets replacement, Ryan Elias, the hooker. And here's Wyn Jones, the loose head prop. Also will have to defend like never before this season. Good spiral there by the ever-alert Hadley Parks, and a brace of New Zealander. There's Wyn Jones again. Good tackle by Matthew Ray, but Jones has made ground. Patchell. Up to the 22 for the Scarlets. 7 minutes remaining. Scarlets on the front foot. John Andrew with the tackle. Well away by the visitors. Wyn Jones. Tackled by Kyle McCaw. McNichol looking to create a bit of space. Steph Evans has serious pace and deft footwork. Again, John Andrew makes a tackle. It's Evans. Barkley. Tackled by Dyack. Evans. Shingler has a real bulldoze at the Ulster defence. Evans flat to Hadley Parks, well met by Luke Marshall, trying to hold him up, and it's been spilled forward by the Scarlets, and Ulster will get the scrum.
It's more like it, isn't it, from an Ulster perspective? Throwing everything kitchen sink et al into that tackle. And Marshall does well. He's tweaked the shoulder here, but he just takes Parks, keeps him high, and you can see what the Scarlets were trying to do. Parks had opened himself up looking for the offload just to let his fellow players strip and go on, and Marshall's just got his fingertip in there and managed to defuse the situation.
Wondering, has he come down on his shoulder? He looks at it in a fair old bit of pain, and just looking down at the replacements, and there's nobody else to come on for Ulster. They brought every single replacement on. He's sitting up, which is good. Gareth Robinson and senior team doctor Michael Webb there.
Also just need to take a second or two, Jim. You see Paul Marshall is just going around speaking to Sean Reedy. He wants to make sure they are both in the same wavelength. He's going to get the ball at his feet. Marshall wants to know exactly what's going on here. Is it my ball? Is it your ball, Sean? How are we going to clear? What's the exit strategy? Let's make sure there's no unforced errors. There's been plenty of them this evening. We certainly don't need another one now, is what Paul Marshall is saying.
Well, his namesake, no relation. Luke Marshall seems to be fine.
For the new guys in, okay? It's the first time in a long time. Stability, please.
Just about 5 minutes remaining.
The wind just sniffling a little bit, Jim, as well, isn't it? Just Scarlets have it in the second half, so if Ulster kick, there's going to need to be a good chase here.
Set.
Two completely different front rows from the ones that started. Well, actually, Kyle McCall is still on, I have to say. Good Ulster scrum. Paul Marshall, Peter Nelson, McCluskey. Very nearly got away with that one again. Paul Marshall. Robbie Dyack.
No hands black. Use that!
Outside is 22 Marshall, so he's kicked for position. And that's a good one. Halfpenny's there. Tommy Bowe nails his fellow Lion. Referee's having a good look. Back inside, John Barkley, who's caused Ulster all sorts of problems with ball in hand. Astute rugby footballing brain. Back on the Scarlets side. Less than 5 minutes remaining. That is for Lealia'Fano, not found wanting. Great work by Lealia'Fano. Now who's at outside half? Nelson, not a bad man to have. That's a good pass. Good work by Clive Ross across the 10-metre line. Paul Marshall, Nelson, Andrew Trimble. Paul Marshall, Robbie Dyack into contact. Marshall to Marshall, McCluskey. Nicely done, here goes Tommy Bowe. He's got away, he needs a bit of help. He's got it from Paul Marshall. The wee fella's got away. Still going strong. Can Ulster put this game to bed right at the death? Luke Marshall throws it wide. Surely John Andrews going to get a second league try, and that might be the one that wins this game for Ulster. What a team effort by the men in white. Still a bit to go, but what a second half we've had, and what a try that was.
Sumptuous offload by Stuart McCluskey once again. Big Matty Ray then carts it up the middle. Paul Marshall on hand, and he chose the right option, Jim. Here we see McCluskey just to show the go. Simple transfer. Tommy Bowe still got the wheels, but look at the good trail line inside. Marshall skips, steps, doesn't throw, just holds on. Look at Marshall. Look, Marshall then back into the action, picks it up, has a look, sees there's huge space. It's a well-placed pass, and you're not going to stop John Andrew from there. But again, it's McCluskey, and it's the deftness of McCluskey's work tonight, Jim, as well. We see him sometimes as just that big Bosch, but he's shown us some lovely handling this evening. 2 or 3 great offloads, and he's made 2 scores, really.
Well, Les Kiss discussing who's going to be interviewed after this game. This to put the icing on the cake with just about 2 minutes remaining. Christian Lealia'Fano, he's scooped it up a little bit as he scooped it between the posts. Oh, he has. That is another cracking kick by one of Ulster's new and more significant signings. And with just under 2 minutes remaining, Ulster leading by 27 points to 20. What a second half of rugby we've had here.
Great second half, and a great comeback from Ulster as well, Jim. Twice they've gone behind and twice they've answered. Now they just have to try and see this out.
Well, that's very clever done, and not very cleverly managed by Ulster. Tap back on the Scarlet side. They will be throwing everything into this. McLeod is well tackled there by Rodney Ayew. Evans, Patchell, Tag Byrne, who's been a thorn in Ulster's side all evening, at the line out and in the loose. He's hanging onto the ball. Slower ball now, trying to create something out wide. That's knocked forward by none other than the great man himself, Jonathan Davis. And such is the excitement that the players have not heard the whistle of Marius Maitreya into the final minute of this game.
From Les Kiss's point of view, Jim, this scrum has to take a minute for the ball to go in, and then Paul Marshall sticks it in the crowd. But also to a man, Jim, in the second half have really answered some questions this evening. The last year or two, I don't think they would have come back from this. I don't think that maybe there was the fortitude of the backbone in the team, but tonight they've really got the bit between their teeth.
A little shot there was of 2 of Ulster's most recently capped Irish internationals, 2 of the youngsters. Jacob Stockdale at just 21, Kieran Treadwell likewise, fully fledged internationals. Smile of a job well done on their faces. Just a few seconds to go now. Ulster need to pop this ball in the scrum and hold it for a few seconds, and it goes into the final 10 seconds. They may well have to do a wee bit more. Paul Marshall, Nigel McCluskey, who has been a tower of strength in the middle of the park for the men in white. The 80 minutes are up. Clive Ross makes some ground. All Ulster have to do now is get rid of this ball. Referee saying to John Barkley, get onside, which is a difficult thing for him to do. And Paul Marshall puts it into touch and gets an extra special hug from his teammates because of that. And Ulster have come back several times in the second half when the champions look as if they had the measure of the men in white. But you've got to give Ulster maximum credit for the way they responded and scored some simply sumptuous tries. And the last one typified just the way Ulster would like to play for the rest of this season. What a second half performance by both sides, but what a finish and what a victory by Ulster.
Yeah, it's been brilliant from both teams, Jim. And those the young guns of that Ulster side, the Alan O'Connors, the Matty Rays, there's a few guys that have grown up this evening. They've ground one out that, look, Ulster deserved to win that. They had enough ball, territory, possession to win by more. The Scarlets played some great counter-attacking rugby in the second half. They asked the question of Ulster, and Ulster have answered them emphatically.
Just about 10 minutes to go, and Ulster trailing by 20 points to 17. Christian Leila-Fallow penalty levelled it up, and then that splendid try rounded off by the replacement hooker John Andrew, converted by Leila-Fallow, gave Ulster the victory.
Well, Stephen Ferris and Eddie O'Sullivan have been with us enjoying what has been a scintillating second half. What a response from Ulster, what resilience from Ulster, and what an atmosphere in here tonight.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. The cameraman actually turned around and said to me, says, it sounds like a little bit more like Fortress Ravenhill now. And, you know, on the 79th minute, when Ulster get in there, the whole crowd just were up on their feet applauding it. And that try was fantastic. It really was out of the top drawer. I totally agree with Tony. They deserved the victory tonight. They did. They played the majority of the rugby. Fair play to Scarlets for coming back into it. But the resilience showed by every one of these Ulster players. They'll be very proud tonight.
And Eddie, Stuart McCluskey, the man of the match this evening.
Well, he put in a big shift the whole game. He carried the ball brilliantly. And the crucial offload to win the game came from Tommy Bowe. He took on two defenders, got his hands free. And even in the first try, Stockdale did the same. So they're the type of moments that can break open a game. And to be fair to Ulster, they were sucker punched twice tonight in the second half. And they fought back both occasions. They lifted their game, they came straight back. Took a lot of character to do that. Something we had questioned before the game, they might be able for it. And in fairness, they've answered the question.
I mean, after last week's frustrating win in Treviso, that looked like an Ulster team tonight that really wanted to prove a point or two.
Yeah, they did. But they're at home, Stephen. They're home in front of the sold-out Kingspan Stadium, as it always is. These faithful supporters that come in their droves week in, week out to support this team. But in pre-season, they were answering your question, Stephen, about they wanted to take their home form away, and they didn't show that last week. But they got to build momentum. They got to take each game as it comes. They got a great victory tonight against the champions of the Pro 14. So there's a lot to build on, a lot of positives. And fingers crossed they can keep this little bit of momentum going for the Dragons game.
Okay, let's hear from the man of the match. Stuart McCluskey is with Gavin.
Stuart, what a game, what a finish, and a whirlwind with it.
What's I can't hear it.
Yeah, that's a good atmosphere. Let's go with it. An epic finish.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we wanted to go that close down to the wire, but yeah, I think the boys really showed what we've been working towards this season, coming through at the end there.
Those stitches might need tidied up. A little bit of a whirlwind in the first half.
I haven't seen it yet, but there's a few stitches put in there about 20 minutes in, so I hope it doesn't dash my good looks.
How much was that about character tonight?
Yeah, I think there was definitely spells that match where we went at our best, and there's things we can definitely work on, but I think the boys showed great spirit and great sort of comeback there at the end to come back.
Those are the kind of games that can work in your favour in terms of building momentum?
Yeah, I think we're just taking the game at a time. I think we're looking any further now than Dragons next week, and hopefully come here, get the win, and then move on to next week.
Christian Leila-Fallow is going to come in and speak to us. Just a word on the impact he's made.
Oh, he's been brilliant. I think everyone here is loving him here. He's a great character, and I think he's just showing his class. He's brought over from Super Rugby, and long may it continue.
Stu, stay with us. You have to get your man of the match award in a second. But Christian, sum up that night for us.
Made a really good team performance. I think everyone played tonight for Nevin Spence, mate, and yeah, it just showed, mate, tonight how much he meant to this club and the supporters as well. So they were amazing tonight, and it was a good team performance.
I think the fans have taken to you here.
oh mate, they're a special crowd, man, and we really enjoy playing in front of our Ulster fans, and it was just an incredible night, and the atmosphere was amazing.
You played top quality rugby all across the world. What do you make of the Pro 14?
Oh mate, it's an outstanding competition. I can't speak highly enough of my group. Their performance tonight and throughout this tournament so far has been incredible, and just an amazing place to be so far, so I'm happy.
This atmosphere match up?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's definitely out here when we got some momentum, so it's yeah, a really special place to play.
Okay, let's bring in Les Kess. Les, sum that one up for us. You're smiling, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, well, we showed some fight. I think both teams probably made a few errors, but when we had to fight and back ourselves, we did. We kept counter-punching and we got a result out of it. But I think the boys probably said it. It was a team effort. The bench came on and did their job, which was important for us.
It's a long season, or nights like this very important in the context of that?
Yeah, it is. We're working slowly to build combinations. We've got a lot of people who've only played together 2 or 3 times, and we're trying to make sure we can build those combinations. Tonight we saw a little bit more development in that, and that's why we keep emphasising it takes a team and a squad to do this type of thing on a night like tonight. They're a great team. We know they are. To get the money tonight was very pleasing.
Okay, good to see you. Very happy, man. Superb. Okay, we'll ask John Hagan now from representing Guinness to present the Man of the Match award to a little battered and bruised Stuart McCloskey.
It was the character that Ulster showed tonight. Every time they went behind, that they were able to fight back. I mean, the match-winning try, a perfect example of that.
It was a peach, and it all came from big Stuart McCloskey. I've raved about this guy for the last couple of years. He brings that physicality, and see that right arm, he gets it free a lot of the time. Look at that, nice slick pass. Tommy Bowie's always there on the trail inside. Matty Ray's also there in support. Gets the breakdown, clears it out. Who's there? You see Luke Marshall running in. St. Paul Marshall took the ball into contact. Lovely pass off his left hand. John Andrew, he enjoyed that one.
he won't score an easier one.
No.
That's for sure. And Eddie, also Ulster's first try, it was a really well-worked try. First one, second half.
Yeah, again, it was a case of players getting their hands free out of the tackle. Ulster have some very powerful players here, but you see this here, Tommy Bogus through a gap, pops it up, and again, they reset the ruck, and it gets out wide into the outside channels, and again, it's about a lucky bounce pass, but once they got the bounce pass here, you see again, hands free, rolls out the tackle, offloads, and they're in again, in behind. So the game Ulster are playing is a very power-oriented game. They've got some very big ball carriers in their back line, looking to get their hands free. And it took them a while tonight to find the gaps, but I suppose as the game wore on and the Scarlets got a wee bit fatigued, that's when those hands-free or situations come. And to be fair to Ulster, in the first part of the game they struggled a wee bit to take those advantages, but later in the game when it counted most, they certainly cashed in.
If the Scarlets play like that, going on the rest of the season, that defence is just unacceptable, and I think that's what they'll be talking about, and that's what the Scarlets will be most disappointed about, is those one-on-one collisions. There was 2-on-1 with Stuart McCloskey a lot of the time, and they still couldn't tag the ball or get him to the ground, so they'll be very disappointed that they didn't get a little bit more out of the game tonight.
I mean, minus their British and Irish Lions tonight, Eddie, minus some of their big foreign stars, how much of a boost will this give Ulster? How big of a gauge is it where they actually are at the minute?
I think we said before the game that we needed a big performance from Ulster. It wasn't a perfect performance, but for me the big thing tonight was they got sucker punched twice in the second half, and before we've seen Ulster wobble a bit on that, they bounced back. So the energy they'll get out of winning that game tonight, not just the win, but the manner in which they won it, the way they came back from being caught out, being caught out a couple of times and finished out with 2 top-grade tries. That would put a lot of fuel in the tank, a lot of fire in the belly going forward. Now they need to build on this, but you will give credit where credit is due. The chips are down tonight, and they actually came through with it.
Yeah, momentum is key, isn't it, Stephen? Now to continue that. That's Ulster obviously unbeaten so far.
It is, and it's the feel-good factor around the camp. It's when you go into training on the Monday morning and you're going in for your review and you're going in with a smile on your face instead of going in, oh geez, we let that one slip against the Scarlets on Friday night. We should have got something more out of the game. The boys will be buzzing. They were doing their walk of honour, or lap of honour at the end of the game there. and there were smiles on faces. Everybody's happy, and that's exactly what you want. Coming into these fixtures, week in, week out, they're coming thick and fast. They need to keep that momentum building.
Okay, Stephen, Eddie, thank you very much indeed. Eddie, you're normally a Scud when you come to the Kingspan. It's good Ulster have got a win tonight.
That's changed.
Every game, Ulster game, is live between now and Christmas here on BBC Two Northern Ireland. Next up, it's the Dragons on Friday, followed by an away trip to Italy to play Zebra on Saturday the 30th. Then it's the first Inter-Pro of the season against Connacht on the 6th of October. And then at the end of October, Ulster host Leinster, then travel to South Africa for the very first time when they meet the Kings. Join us again shortly on the BBC Sport Northern Ireland Facebook page when Stephen and Eddie will be analysing more of the game. We'll have lots more reaction on the website too. But for now, from everyone here on the Ulster Rugby Live